Bringing a child into the world is such a big deal, and I feel like so many people don't see having children as being as big of a deal as it is. Sometimes it's so hard to go against social norms where you say, well, I don't want to get married, and people look at you weird. Or you say, I don't necessarily think I want to have kids. I don't think that I want to do the whole motherhood thing. And people look at you weird, or they think that it's weird that you can be a woman and you don't necessarily have that need and want to have children. Welcome back to my channel. This is Starting Over at 30, the series. Welcome back. If you are a subscriber, I appreciate you for being here with us. I appreciate you for being here with me. I'm so used to being a news anchor and having like a co-anchor. If you are new here, my name is Sierra. I recently quit my dream job as a news anchor, and now I'm starting over, starting fresh, figuring myself out outside of a career, outside of a relationship, on a journey of self-discovery and self-love. If you have not, be sure to join the Becoming Circle. It is a free bi-weekly email that I send out, reflections, journal prompts, and it's been a while since we've done one of these videos. I've been doing so many vlogs. I've been traveling. I also kind of took a break from the Starting Over at 30 series because I just really wasn't inspired, and I couldn't really think of a topic that, I don't know, kind of was important to me and hit home for me. So I didn't want to just ramble and talk about anything. But then this crossed my mind, the idea of pushing back as a woman, pushing back against social norms and being okay with your decision and standing in your decision to maybe not want marriage or to maybe not want to have children. But having ginger and turmeric tea is so good today. It's so chilly out. It's like fall, so it just feels good outside. Like it's that crisp, cold, just makes you want to cozy up. Speaking of cozying, I should grab my blanket. But the older I get, the more I don't want kids. And it's so interesting because before, when I was in my 20s, when you're a kid, like I just swore that I would be married by 25. I would have 2 kids. I've always wanted a girl. I've always dreamed of having a little girl. But the older I get and the more I get to experience life, experience relationships, experience the ups and downs, the tribulations, the joys, the pains, I really see I recognize how much more difficult my life would be if I did have kids. Like for now, for instance, I don't have any income, right? Because I decided to step away from my job for a plethora of reasons, mainly mental health reasons. I don't know if I would have been able to gift myself that opportunity and step away from consistent income if I had a child, Another thing for me is like, I also enjoy to travel. And a lot of times having children, that hinders you from being able to travel. People travel with their kids all the time, but would that be something I would prefer? Probably not. I don't know. Whenever I see moms with their kids on the planes, baby, they always just look like they're going through it. And I think that moms have like a certain type of super strength that carries them through. I always tell my mom, like, I'm just so amazed at how you did what you did for as long as you did it, because it's like, it's not easy. Being a mom is so hard, and society harshly judges women who are bad moms more so than they harshly judge men who are bad fathers. So you already have like all of this pressure to be like this perfect mom on top of usually having to work and provide for your children. That's pressure within itself. Trying not to make mistakes, even though you're human and it's human to make mistakes. It just seems like it's so much to be a mom. And I say all this because I love children still. Like, I love kids. I think that kids are the most beautiful, amazing gift to this world and to the earth, and they should be cherished and cared for and nurtured and just loved immensely, loved beyond measure. And another reason why I feel like having kids is something that I just don't necessarily see in my future. My mind could change, but right now I don't see it in my future. I feel like fatherhood is too optional. I feel like you could get married to a man child. y'all can have a beautiful marriage, and then one day your husband can just die, or one day he can just, like, I don't know, up and leave you and just decide that he doesn't want to be a father or a husband anymore. And I know that that is can also happen where a woman can decide that, but I think it's a lot less likely that a woman is going to up and leave her children. But men will up and leave their kids and leave you with that heavy load to carry. And as a woman, I don't know if I want to really sign up for that or take that gamble, because to me, I don't even necessarily think it's about choosing right. I don't think any woman goes into motherhood or marriage thinking that the father of their children is going to leave them, or their relationship isn't going to work out, or their marriage isn't going to work out. Most women don't go into it thinking that. So the whole idea of, well, yeah, just choose a better partner, I mean, that's like really debatable to me, because you can choose someone who's a good guy, right, on paper, and babies change things. Like, I don't have kids, clearly, but babies change the dynamic of a relationship. I mean, and it only makes sense that they would. So you would have to have, I don't know, I just feel like you would have to be with a person who also really, really, really wants it as bad as you really, really, really want it. And a lot of times I feel like that's where there's a disconnect. Like, I think sometimes fathers just decide, like, I don't really want this. I also think that some men might not have like that same connection to their children as women do, because of course women carry the child. So maybe that's why it's so easy for them to step away. I would never understand how men are able to just walk away from their kids. Like, I never will get that. I don't really think that that's something that's really meant to be understood. But to me, fatherhood is so optional, and motherhood, once you're in it, is not. And if you do make that option to, or make the choice to walk away from motherhood, it's like you're really looked down on as a woman. You're looked down on, and that's just the truth. So one of my reasons is I am not necessarily a person who has a strong emotional stability. I am a resilient person, but I honestly get rattled. Like, kind of, it doesn't take much to rattle me. Like, one thing can go wrong and it's literally the end of the world. And that's something that I'm currently working on. But while I'm in it, I recognize that I don't know if I would have, I know I would make a way and figure it out, but I don't know if I have the emotional capacity or the emotional stability, the mental stability to care for a child the way that I would want to. I don't know if I would be able to to handle it. Like, that's just so honest. I don't know if I would be able to handle it in this season of my life. And of course my mind may change, but I don't know if I would be able to handle it. And it's so interesting when you're dating as a single woman and you tell men, I don't want children. All these men want kids. They all want kids, or they already have children. But a lot of them all want to procreate. And something that I find when I talk to men and I tell them, like, I don't want kids, they're like, well, I'm going to change your mind. But if I don't want to have a kid for me, what make you think I'm going to have a child for you? And it's so interesting to me how some men can think that they can change your mind into having a child with them. Like, not even marriage, but I feel like having a child is so much more serious than getting married. And there are so many people who view it the opposite way, where it's like they don't think that having a child is as big of a deal as it is as getting married. I would marry a man before I have a child with a man. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't even necessarily have a big goal of getting married, but to think that you can convince me to have a child when I tell you that I don't want kids, that's the first thing that you say. I always see that as like a red flag, because that's so weird to me. Like, why are you trying to convince me to have kids after I just told you I don't want that? I also see so many sad stories, and my mom has told me, like, well, don't let the sad stories or bad things that you see, like, just completely overhaul your thinking when it comes to wanting kids and having kids. Don't let it, like, just completely consume, or be your main reason for not wanting to have kids. But I see so many sad stories on social media, especially like on TikTok, or just moms like just complaining, or just talking to moms in everyday life and hearing about their struggles and hearing how they say, I love my child, but if I could go back, I probably would not have had my child. Or, I love my baby, but this is hard. I love having my child, but this is the hardest thing I've ever had to do in my life. And I do think that motherhood is the hardest and most thankless job there is out there. And that's no shame to the fathers or whatever. But I personally think that motherhood is like the hardest thing, because a lot of times all, if not most, of the responsibility and the weight falls on a mother. And I just don't want that. Like, there are just so many instances of women getting married, getting pregnant, the man wanting the baby, then the baby gets here and it's like a completely different story, a complete 180. He completely switches up on her. And it's just like, golly, I couldn't. I would have like a mental breakdown. I literally just had a mental breakdown because I got in a car accident. So it's like, baby, I don't know. And I just think about the stuff, like how much I call my mom and how much I still depend on my mom at 30. Like, motherhood, being a parent does not stop once your child turns 18. You know what I'm saying? Like, you still have to support them, like, not necessarily financially, but sometimes that, especially parents who have the means to do it, but more so you have to support them. Like, you have to support them mentally and emotionally. And if you are a good parent, you know that your child, when something happens, you're usually the first person that they call, right? You're usually the first stop. You're usually the confidant. You're usually the problem solver. And on top of you being the problem solver for your child, you also have to be the problem solver for yourself. And for me, I just don't know if I would have the capacity to do it. I'm not saying I couldn't do it, but I don't know if I have the capacity to do it. Like, it just seems like so hard. It seems so hard. And I've dealt with some tough things in my life, but being a mom, it seems like it's the most difficult thing that a woman can do. I also think with just the world that we live into and all of the things that are happening politically, where the choice for a woman to even have a child is being, that's up in the air. Women's rights are getting stripped away. ICE is doing weird stuff. Our economy is starting to shift and decline. People are losing their food benefits. School systems just... Schools, teachers are overwhelmed, overworked. It's just like, this don't really seem like the best timeline to have children. God bless all women who are having children right now, and I wish you well. But this just don't seem like the move. This just don't seem like a good time to want to have kids or to have kids. Like, and maybe my mind will change 5 years from now. Who knows? I always told myself if I were to be a parent, I would definitely be like an older parent. Like, I would be an older mom. I would probably have like my first child in my late 30s, where I'm more grounded. I think that I'm also just not grounded enough to have kids. I don't know. There are just so many. I have like a full grocery list of reasons of why I don't want to have kids. But to get back to the topic at hand of selfishness and that being equated to being childless, and that being equated to also being selfish or being a selfish person, I think that's really interesting. And I pose the question to you. Do you think that is selfish for women to choose not to have children? Do you think that is selfless? What do you think about it? Me personally, I think that a woman choosing to do whatever she want to do with her body is her choice. But when people say, you know, I don't want kids, I'm childless, I'm child free, I enjoy being child free, I don't want no kids, I don't want no responsibilities, I don't want to deal with it. A lot of people see it as being selfish. And to me, I feel like that is the most selfless decision that you can make, because I think the worst thing that you can do is to bring a child in this world and you are not financially secure. I think the worst thing that you can do, or not the worst, a bad thing that you can do, is to bring a child in this world and you're maybe in an abusive relationship. You bring a child in this world and you are mentally unstable. You bring a child in this world and you have underlying health conditions that you pass on to the child. Me personally, I have anxiety, ADHD, and depression, babe. And I'm pretty sure it's hereditary. I don't know if I would want to pass that on to my child. Like, just knowing the ways that I have struggled with my own mental health, I would hate to pass that on to my child. I would hate to bring my child in the world and they have abandonment issues because their father leaves or something, you know, like something crazy, or I cause them to have some type of childhood trauma. And I think that no matter how great or perfect you are as a mom, you know, there will always be some type of issue or trauma that you leave with your child, and that's just life. That's just life. No one is perfect, and there's no guidebook on how to raise a child or how to be a good mom or how to be an okay mom or a perfect mom. So just the difficulties in that and the risk, and more women should be vocal about, you know, being child free and enjoying being child free and enjoying their choice and not wanting to have children, and pushing back against those societal pressures and those societal standards that women are here to birth children and have children and just be barefoot and pregnant in the house. You know, that works for some women, but for some of us it does not, and that is okay, and that does not make us selfish. I think it makes us self-aware, and we're just aware of who we are, our capacities, and what we can and cannot handle, what we can and cannot give. Everybody not meant to have kids. And I think that's another big thing. Everybody is not meant to have children. And I'm not saying that in a classist, or I don't want this to come off wrong, but I don't think that everybody should have children. Like, some people just really should not have children. This is just a short, quick little starting over at 30 video. I just wanted to get these thoughts out there and share what I've been thinking lately, and see what your thoughts are too. So, my child-free ladies, or my girls who maybe don't want to have kids and just see themselves being a... Whenever I picture my dream life, and I say this all the time, I close my eyes, I picture my dream life, there is no one there but me. It's me in like a high skyrise apartment, or me in a brand new condo, maybe with a cat. And I'm just like so like chill, like drinking tea and just a boss, running a nonprofit. I'm an author. I have a cool job, you know, like I don't really think of like a man. I almost never picture a man in my dream life. There's actually never a man in my dream life. And it for sure ain't no kids, honey. If it ain't no man, it ain't no kids. But we'll see. Maybe my thoughts will change as time progresses, but the way that this world is looking, honey, I highly doubt it. This is just a little tidbit of my thoughts and my opinions. As always, protect your mind, protect your energy, and protect your peace. I'll see you in the next video. I love you. Bye.